pleasure to be here today and interview you, Veronica. Yes. And I think particularly pleasurable for me because I am just a simple banker and I really had to go down an internet rabbit hole to understand biomimicry. So I really enjoyed that. And what I think is amazing that you have really bet your life savings on a hunch that Australian bees will revolutionise how we make certain materials, which I think is quite incredible. Now, Humble Bee Bio has actually raised $5 million and discovered peptides that regenerate skin 4.7 times faster than anything we have today, which I'm certainly super excited about. So let's jump straight into it. So let's start with the basics. Can you walk us through what Humble Bee Bio does and the applications of your innovation?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are inspired by nature. We use biomimicry and synthetic biology to develop and commercialise novel products. And on the cusp of being market ready, which we're very excited about, is our proprietary elastin stimulating peptide for the anti-aging market. So you will have heard about collagen in the anti-aging narrative, but you won't really have heard about elastin. And the reason for that is that despite being kind of the holy grail in anti-aging, it is incredibly hard to get the body to produce elastin because it turns off after puberty. And one of the only ways to get the body to turn it back on is through the wound healing pathway, which is why very expensive, painful and invasive treatments like chemical peels, acid peels, microdermabrasion, microneedling are very effective. But we have a topical treatment, and moving out of the phase of R&D and into commercialisation, we actually have two walking kind of A/B test subjects in the audience. Bridget, Nicole, where are you? There, and where's Bridget? Over there. So they will, please find them. They will happily play the which side have I applied the peptide to with you. Yeah.
Well, next time you need test subjects, just lather that up for me. I'm super interested.
Yeah.
So you put your life savings into sequencing a bee genome. It's quite incredible. What made you so certain that these particular bees held the answer?
I mean, I wasn't. I don't think any founder is 100% certain. I mean, I had some fairly good desktop research that suggested that my hypothesis was worth putting some money behind. But, you know, the entrepreneurial journey is never linear. The place you end up is very rarely what you set out to do, and it's the founder's job to follow the data, read the market, regulatory tailwinds, and adjust your sales accordingly. And we did a lot of R&D, and we did some development on a lot of different other applications which had commercial promise in some really big industries, tackling big problems, and we can come back to those. But elastin stimulation is such a rare property, and our peptide is so potent, and the market is so big and so thirsty for innovation, and the economics are really great. So it just made kind of complete sense to do that.
I love that, but it takes that initial leap of faith, which I think is quite incredible. Now, I do think there's certain occupational hazards, I imagine, from working with bees. And you did have to transport, I believe, like live bees from Australia back to New Zealand, which was probably, you know, a whole thing in and of itself. And I believe some got lost in the mail. I'm really keen for you to talk about this bee heist that you had to pull off.
Okay, I'm really pleased to kind of in front of many hundreds of witnesses confirm that no biosecurity laws were broken in the development of this technology. We didn't, in fact, bring live bees back. We brought the nest material back, but it is true that I foolishly put all my bees' nests in one parcel, and it did get lost in the mail, and I spent about days ringing every post office in New Zealand, kind of, have you seen my bee's nest? And that question really motivated people to try and find them. And we did find them, and we were able to do the analysis that we needed to progress the research.
I find one of the things I love when I'm speaking to founders is this concept of the founder's journey. And we were speaking a little bit earlier, and you were sharing some of those times where, you were actually living on a friend's couch. Times were pretty tough financially. You were, bootstrapping a business, and you'd actually broken up with your partner at the time. I'm really keen to understand some of the motivations about how you kept going and really what you learned from that time.
Yeah, it was not a fun time. I think I learnt the depths of, you can call it resilience, determination, or stubbornness that I had. But I think in truth, when I set out, I had made a promise to myself that I would be not happy, but I would be okay with walking away if one of two things were true. So one, that the tech just didn't work.
Yeah.
And there was no real feasible way to make it work. B, if I couldn't raise money.
Yeah.
But when the opportunity was still pressing and there were still questions to be answered, I couldn't, as it turns out, walk away at that point.
Yeah, and phenomenally raised $5 million, which is just amazing.
Yeah. We've raised, that was one round. We've raised nearly 10 all up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah. And as you said, your peptide stimulates elastin production sort of 5 times more than any current gold standard. Now, that's just not an incremental shift. That's a really revolutionary step change. How did you go about or get after that discovery?
It is revolutionary.
Yeah.
Thank you for acknowledging that. Yes, it is. And look, we and the people that we've shared the data with from industry are really astonished because it is such a huge leap. There were a couple of things that led us to do that biological test because we were looking in the more kind of functional industrial application space beforehand. And one where there were some breadcrumbs in the data that suggested it might have bioactivity, but also, as someone who started the company to make a positive difference on the environment, doing a biological test to determine how it affected living cells was a kill test, right?
Yeah.
If it had an adverse effect, then we were out, right? So it was actually just a very important step to take. But what it did is in following that value of the company, it led us to this, intensely exciting opportunity.
Yeah, and I think you think it's potentially like a $50 billion market of bee-inspired materials. I'm just really keen to understand what's next.
After that $50 billion market?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So first,
or what's next for you to get after that?
Yeah, well, right now we're raising it's a $4 million round, just tie a bow under the R&D, get us to commercial product before a kind of a final growth round. But elastin is present in all of the tissues of your body that stretch and recoil. So it's not just your skin, it's ligaments, lungs, blood vessels, valves, and because it stops being made after puberty, it has a very, very long half-life. And so it's about 70 years, but at a certain point it does degrade and it compromises the functionality of those tissues.
Yep.
And so what we know is that because of the potency, this has the potential to have applications in biomedical and longevity, far beyond the applications just in skin.
Yeah, well, that's quite incredible, multiple applications for this.
Yeah,
wonderful.
Absolutely. And it just means that by starting the commercial journey in the cosmetic space, we can, with that revenue, fund the clinical trials.
Yes,
it's very effective, a really well-proven pathway for molecules like this. And then that means that we can have multiple exits. So it's an incredibly attractive opportunity.
Very exciting times.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask you a few more quick-fire questions.
Yep.
We want to pump through some answers. We've got a little bit more time together.
Yeah.
So just to kick off, what's the one piece of advice that could save other founders years of pain?
So this will improve your relationship with your friends and family, and substantially improve your mental health. So if you haven't already, do figure out how to detach your personal sense of self-worth from the journey of your company. Yeah. Because if you don't, then you will follow the roller coaster of the company, and it is just a world of pain. So work out how to do that. And I mean, I've talked to a lot of founders who have worked out how to do that. Personally, and this sounds a bit grim, but I kind of don't celebrate the highs too much, because you end up like just kind of attaching that almost like a dopamine hit to it. So it's like, yes, well done, but like, right, let's get going.
And just on funding, if you were to do it all again, would you change any ways that you went about that?
Yeah, look, when we first started, the ecosystem was really different. I mean, we've got this entire section now on Built with Biology, but our early investors were going, oh, look, this sounds like science fiction. I don't know that this is really a thing in terms of synthetic biology. And so we raised tiny amounts, and we kind of inched along for a little while. So I would have gone to international markets who understood the kind of potential of this, raised a bit more, gone a bit faster. That would have been...
I must admit, I did chat GPT it as well, but not the aggressive B bit.
Not the aggressive B.
Is this real? And then I do want to end on just giving you the opportunity and look, a bit of a mic drop moment, and like keen for you to share something powerful, funny, or unfiltered. So over to you. What do you want to leave the audience with?
I'm going to give you something fun and something powerful. Just on MC's arrogant bee, the solitary bees have reason to be arrogant, because there are 20,000 species of bee in the world. Only 8 of them are honeybees, and solitary bees are between 10 and 100 times more effective pollinators. So we give a lot of credit to honeybees, but we should give some credit to solitary bees. Yeah,
I like it.
But one of the things that I'm so excited about this in this Built with Biology space, and one of the reasons I'm such a passionate environmentalist, is that the human genome, all kind of 11 million species, all represent kind of a book with recipes that can potentially code for materials and molecules that can have a huge impact on the world. I mean, we looked at a couple, and we've unlocked something that has billions in market opportunity. So it's just a really thrilling time to be part of this industry.
And you're right on the cutting edge. Thank you, Veronica.
Yeah,
it's been
my
great
pleasure.
to catch up. Thank you.
Thank you.